What's up, everybody? I'm very low to the ground for this episode of What's on the Shelf. We started high and tight, now we're going low and slow, or whatever. That's not really how our shelf space is organized. This is What's on that Shelf. It's just the brothers Murph going through the games that we own, why we own them. Sometimes we question why we own them. Other times we're defending why we own them. We'll get to the Justin Bieber game eventually, but that's not what part of the shelf we're on today. Today we're in this box right here. And there's some cool stuff here. Let's take a look. First, we've got the World of Yo-Ho. The World of Yo-Ho is super cool. It's a game that we got at MeepleCon last year, which was the first convention we ever went to. And this is a game that we had just heard about, which takes using an app or your phones to the next level. So the cool thing is basically in this box you have a couple of gigantic maps which show open waters and islands and things. And then when you play, you actually use your phone as your ship. So your phone will show your ship and where you are on the board, and you actually slide your phone on different spaces to indicate, such as you can see right here, to indicate like where you are. And then there's different things that happen, like battles, and sometimes sea monsters pop up and you go to land and you have to pick up treasure or something, so you have to actually pick your phone up and you get some secret information. And it's really an ambitious, cool project. Now at our last play, and it has been some time, the problem was that everyone has to be connected on the same Wi-Fi network, and it was a bit buggy, and I'm not sure if they've really done much to fix any of that. So it has kind of stopped us from playing very often, but one I want to get back to and see if they fix some of those, little issues and everything, because it's such a cool idea. Like, it serves multiple purposes because you are incorporating technology, but you're also limiting your use of technology. Like, you can't check out of the game and like text people because your phone's being used for the game. So it's kind of like awesome in that way. So that's something that I'm guilty of, is being too connected to the rest of the world instead of the game. So that's the World of Yo-Ho. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Talisman. Here's the thing. Nick and I, let's get comfortable for this. Nick and I'd say spend a fair amount of time talking smack on Talisman. And I just want to clarify that Talisman serves, or has served rather, a very important purpose in our lives and our board gaming evolution. This is a game that a buddy showed to me way back when, before I really knew games. At that point I'd played Pandemic, Settlers of Catan, and he showed me things like Bang and Talisman, and it really started to open up my idea of like board games and the world that was ahead. And I've since kind of left things like Bang and Talisman behind, but like this game was really important because I was like, oh, it's really cool and splashy, and if you don't really know more about board games, there's a lot of people who still like Talisman, there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like there's not, for a game that seems like it has a lot going on, there's not really many decisions. It's sort of just kind of a roll and move game that takes longer than it should. But we still have Talisman as of yet. We haven't sold it off yet because, I don't know, maybe it's nostalgia or something, but that is Talisman. What else we got? All right, Mistfall. Okay. This is the shelf of having to explain our stuff a little bit. That's okay. Mistfall. This game is awesome. It is a cooperative game. You're fighting monsters. Kind of reminds me of like Lord of the Rings card game and stuff. So it's kind of a deck building type game that has really cool stuff going for it, like the way that you can combo cards. You can put things together to make, these really cool attacks and things. But the problem is it has one of the most incoherent rule books that's ever been created of all life. Clearly, easily our worst, most frustrating rule book. We play this game probably once or twice a year, and that's really the most that we can do, because it's just, we spend so much time trying to clarify, what does the wording on this mean? This card doesn't even exist in the rule book. There's nothing about this type of action, and we have to do all this research online to kind of like hobble through a game. And the problem is we don't play the game so often that we remember those things. So every time we play, it's like going back to the very beginning. And it really does stop us from playing it more, but we do really like the game, which is why it still sits right here on the shelf. So that's Mistfall. Oh, snap. We got two things. Right here. The War of the Ring. This is super cool. I'm actually going to bust this open a little bit. War of the Ring, if you don't know, Nick and I, and Nick in particular, we're pretty big Lord of the Rings fans. Quite like it. Nick was like literally ranked #1 in California for like Lord of the Rings trivia for a time. Nerd. But we have always really enjoyed this property. That took a lot longer than it should have, sorry. Nick, I just want to show you, like, painted all these minis. There's a lot of these cool minis. This is basically a game that takes you through, Lord of the Rings. And it's a 2-player game, and you're playing as, kind of good versus evil. And it's really cool. So if you're the good folk, it's just really interesting because you're limited in a lot of ways in terms of the numbers you have. You don't have kind of an unlimited army. And you're also trying to move the Fellowship through to destroy the ring, and you're fighting these big battles. And then if you're, Sauron and their armies, it's just kind of this never-ending horde of people. And there's just really interesting battles in the way that you can kind of lay siege at places, and you can just kind of do all these different things. And there's these really interesting cards that get super thematic and deep, like a game that isn't afraid of the mythos, and isn't afraid to kind of get into, get in the weeds of Lord of the Rings a little bit. So it's a really satisfying game. Someday we might stream this. I've never actually completed a game of this, to be perfectly honest. Every time we get into it, we set aside more and more time to play because we want to make it like a day. We want to do it. We want to play it. And then we still don't have enough time. So we'd have to figure that out. But War of the Ring is really a spectacular game. And I mean, thematically, you can't do much better than Lord of the Rings for us. So that is War of the Ring. One last thing I want to show you is this. It seems fairly innocuous. This is a cribbage board. But this is really special to us. This is a cribbage board that our grandfather made. He was a very accomplished woodworker, carpenter. He built furniture and cabinets and houses and things, never as a profession, just as out of kind of passion. And so we have a number of cribbage boards, and this is one of them. He passed away about 5 years ago. And this is just something that's really special, is having these kind of reminders of him. He and our grandmother taught us cribbage when we were very young, and it's something that we kind of shared in together, playing card games, which we still enjoy doing. For all these games that we have, sometimes we'll just sit down and play a nice game of cribbage, and we kind of have our own way of playing it, which is really fun and adds to the challenge level. So we have a couple of those, and these are just, really cool, important things that there'll never be another cribbage board just like this, handmade by our grandfather. And so it's really a special piece that we'll have forever. So that is it for this section of the shelf. Thanks for laying with me. My left arm is falling asleep, but that's okay. It's all good. Hopefully this segment didn't put you to sleep. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Check us out on social media. We have a brand new episode of This Game is Broken out right now. So just go right into listening to this either on your favorite device, or you can go over to This Game is Broken's YouTube channel and listen to it there as well. It's a real, really good episode with some really solid team names this week. So do check that out. And also you can stream with us on Twitch next time we're live. Check out Twitter to find out times for that and what we'll be playing. Cheers, folks. Bye.